Hello everyone, I am Krishleen and I'm creating this video for anyone and everyone out there who is interested in a master's program in behavioral science and who is generally interested in a master's program in the United States. I have been getting a lot of messages on LinkedIn and in general reaching out to ask about my experience and about my time at the University of Pennsylvania, where I did a master's in behavior and decision sciences. I started in the year 2022 and I completed my master's in the year December 2023. And now I'm working as a full time behavioral scientist with a patient engagement organization. So I'm going to structure this video into three main parts. First is why did I choose to come to UPenn to do a master's in behavioral science? Secondly, what is something I really liked about this program? And third, what I think could be better, or what are aspects of this program that I hope would be improved in the coming years. So let's get right into the video. Firstly, whenever someone asks me why I chose to do a master's in behavior and decision sciences, my first response is because I was generally frustrated with this domain of behavioral science where I had done a bachelor's in single major psychology. I worked for a span of 2.5 years in the space of user research, design research, market research, as well as other aspects of behavioral science consultancies. And I had done a lot of work that involved applied behavioral science. However, somewhere I feel that the rigor and the experimentative, evidence driven nature of behavioral science was lacking in my work. I also felt like I was all over the place, where I was working with different companies and different agencies and startups, but I did not know a single specific domain or industry that I was interested in. I also had my love and hate relationship with behavioral science, where I felt I needed to find my own philosophy, my own process, and doing a master's program would also give me additional credibility and help me advance in my career. So I decided to take the leap and applied for a behavioral science program. I applied to only 3 programs. UK has a lot of programs, but I decided not to go for the ones at UCL, LSC, etc., just because I felt like they were more academic in nature, they were more oriented towards theory, and I wasn't very interested in the academic aspects of behavioral science. So I decided to apply to the UPenn Masters of Behavior and Decision Sciences. I applied to the School of Visual Arts in New York, where I applied to a program which is called a Masters in Social Innovation and Design. And thirdly, I applied to University of Stirling, where again it was an MSc in Behavioral Science. I got an offer letter from all 3 of these universities, and I decided to go with UPenn just because I understood the applied nature. I also got really good reviews and feedback from people I spoke to as alumni from this program. And finally, because it is an Ivy League university, there are a set of resources and there are a set of valuable connections that you can make. Also, the entrepreneurship community and the entrepreneurial spirit that you see at Wharton, which is the business school at UPenn, is something that drew me to this program. Secondly, what are aspects of this program that I really enjoyed? Firstly, I think any master's program or any bachelor's program, or for that matter, any experience in your life, is all about how much you make out of it, how proactive you are. So this is my caveat for anyone who's stepping out and doing a master's program or is coming abroad for an educational experience. You have to go out there and seek experiences and opportunities that help you grow, that help you find your interests. You are not going to get anything served on a golden platter, even if it's an Ivy League university. You have to make an effort to talk to professors, to talk to fellow students, peers, look at all the communities that are budding on this campus, and then make sure that you align your interests with those relevant exposures or those relevant experiences. So having said that, I would say what was fascinating is that I had tried a lot of MOOCs and online programs and online courses on Coursera and edX, paid as well as free, and tried to learn coding. However, I did not get a hang of it, and I couldn't really feel confident that I can take on coding and quantitative data analysis. But when I came here at UPenn, I think the most transferable and hard skill that I picked up from this program is being able to code using R and Python and build creative predictive models for AI, for ML related projects. So this was done for even students who are very, very new to data science, very new to data analysis, and also people who are scared of numbers. I think our professors are so good that they help you really break that barrier and break that fear in your head. So first is, I would say, that quant data analysis, data science skills that I picked up. Secondly, I think I was also working in a space of more use behavioral science as an art before coming to this program. But when I came here, I understood the scientific rigor. I understood the experimentation that goes behind running randomized controlled trials, the evidence based nature of behavioral science, and why is behavioral science a science and not simply an art. So, understanding how experiments, how interventions are applied in the field, how RCTs are run, and understanding best practices, understanding the academic community and how scientific research is conducted, what are ethical best practices to follow. That is something I think was again very valuable. Apart from this, I took a course in health behavioral science, or how do you design health, better health outcomes. And that is a program, or that is a course by Alison Buttenheim, who is a professor here at UPenn. And she really opened up the space of healthcare for me because she used very relevant, applicable behavioral science concepts and made us read evidence-based peer-reviewed articles and also work with clients through design challenges, which again I think was an exposure which I hadn't gotten earlier on. Apart from this, I would also like to highlight that this program is extremely applied in nature, which means that you get to work with real-time clients. I work with JP Morgan for my design challenge capstone project. You also get exposure to real world problems, and you can pick and choose areas that you're interested in. That brings me to the other aspect of this program, which is it is extremely interdisciplinary. You will not be required to choose one specific domain, one specific skill, or one specific track. You can pick up courses from the Wharton School of Business, from the Design School, from the Data Science programs, from the Public Policy School, from the Education School, the Neuroscience Department. So you can curate your learning experience the way you want it. Apart from that, I think another aspect of this program that is very helpful is that you work in group projects. I know this is something that was challenging for me just because people have different priorities when you're working in groups to deliver assignments and to deliver client presentations. But I think it gives you exposure to project management, to conflict resolution, to leadership, having difficult conversations. So that enriched me professionally and personally both. And also another program or another course that I took was on negotiation skills. And this came super handy when I was applying to jobs, when I was negotiating for maybe a higher pay or maybe a better kind of job title, or in general, having the skills of negotiation comes super handy and helpful in your life. So overall, I think it prepares you professionally. It is a professional master's, and it really helps you get into the field, into the sector of behavioral science, and into this corporate life, into the industry. Now, let's come to aspects of what were things that didn't go as expected, or maybe what were experiences which I feel could be better and could be designed better for students. Number one, I think, is there is not much support when it comes to looking for jobs after you graduate. There is not much support when it comes to how do you network, how do you really put yourself out there and build a brand, and how do you sell behavioral science to employers who are looking to hire you once you graduate. The second aspect that I think is also something that could have been done better is, I believe it is very, very important to kind of have some focus on how will you specialize, right? What aspects of your program could help you specialize and pick up a niche? That was again absent. So it really doesn't help you pick up on a specific niche or specialization unless you really run behind your interests and your kind of inclinations during the program. So it is a very self-motivated, self-initiated effort that has to be taken on your part. Thirdly, I would say the cost. It is a master's program that costs somewhere around 70 to 80,000 US dollars. So if you are someone who cannot bear that cost, or who believes that you will put yourself in a difficult position by bearing that cost, I would say rethink about it, because it is difficult sometimes to get a return on investment for a couple of months after you graduate if you don't get a job immediately, or if you're not working while you're doing your master's program. So scholarship opportunities are limited, and you will have to bear the cost upfront yourself. So that is another consideration that you have to keep in mind. However, I can vouch and I can say this for sure, that if you get a job full time post your master's program, you will be able to cover up your costs within a year and a half for sure. All depends on your savings and how you spend and what is your spending behavior, but you will easily be able to get it. The other aspect of this video was I wanted to concentrate on how I got my internship at the Penn Medicine Nudge Unit, the Center for Healthcare Innovation, and what is it that made me stand out in my job search process also. So I got this internship during my summer, and I also worked with the Penn Medicine Nudge Unit part time over my semesters. And I think what was extremely beneficial is I got to see and understand the healthcare system and the jargon and the processes that are used here in the US, which is very different from India, where I come from. So it gave me a head start, and also I worked on very high impact projects, including gun violence prevention, including firearm safety, as well as opioid use disorder, distracted driver safety. And I used all behavioral science principles and evidence-based psychology to design interventions, conduct research, deliver these design reports to stakeholders. I also learned the skill of workshop facilitation, of qualitative research, of using software to analyze qualitative data. I also feel that it gave me a head start because Penn Medicine is a very respected and a worldwide, a famous name. So when people saw that on my resume as my internship, it was very easy to make and start, I think, a conversation with employers, especially those in the healthcare space. The other interesting thing was that because I interned with the Penn Medicine Nudge Unit, I understood that healthcare is an area that I was interested in, which I wasn't exposed to beforehand. And I also was able to see the nuances. I was able to see the opportunities that existed in the space of healthcare to improve health outcomes, to improve health behaviors, to launch behavior change campaigns, to design for behavior change in the healthcare space, whether it is nudging clinicians or patients or healthcare providers or nurses or different stakeholders. There were so many touch points, and it was such a complex space to be in. So the other kind of advice that I can give is that put yourself in uncomfortable spots and put yourself in industries and domains that you haven't worked in before, just because you can come across opportunities and you can come across interests that you will be able to hone in on and develop your expertise over that internship or over that part-time job, and that will help you pivot if you want to as a full-time role, which also what I did eventually. I pivoted to healthcare behavioral science specific roles when I was looking for my jobs, and I ended up getting it in a patient engagement organization where I'm working full-time currently. Now, who is this program ideally designed for? I think if you are someone who is a novice, who is someone never have worked in the space of behavioral science and who is trying to pivot to behavioral science, you should definitely take this program, because it is going to give you a great introduction. It is going to help you meet peers, professors, and really help you understand what in behavioral science do you enjoy. But if you are someone who has 5 years of work experience, if you're someone who has, even I would say 3 to 4 years of work experience in behavioral science and you're taking this program, it might seem redundant. Some aspects, some courses which are mandatory for a lot of students might seem repetitive just because you have already heard and worked in that space. So all the theories, all the concepts, all the definitions, all the frameworks and principles might seem redundant, which was the case for me in some classes. And I think that didn't seem very stimulating. That was not very challenging for me when I was doing this program. However, it is all about, again, do you take that extra step? Do you go beyond what's being taught in class, and do you do your extra research, and do you do your own passion projects and come up with new ideas to collaborate? Are you on the lookout for hackathons, for seminars, for other events that are going on in the community and on campus? And that will help you make the most of this. And that brings me to the next aspect, which is, how do you make most of this program if you come to UPenn? Number one, like I mentioned, you have to look for opportunities that put you in a spot of novelty. So working at the Penn Medicine Lunch Unit was a complete serendipitous encounter where I applied for a very senior role, and I ended up getting the offer as an intern because they really liked my profile, as well as the interview process was extremely smooth, and they really enjoyed interacting with me. So number one is that, make sure you go for unheard opportunities. Don't go for the mainstream opportunities because there might just be a lot of competition. And secondly, I would say that you should also look for other adjacent opportunities. So for instance, I was very interested in entrepreneurship, and I leveraged the Wharton Business School resources for the venture lab community, the entrepreneurship community at UPenn. And I learned a lot working with founders, working with entrepreneurs, doing hands-on workshops for business model development, for how do you go to market, and those aspects. So use UPenn resources, or use the resources of whichever university you are at, above and beyond the program and the school you go to. And finally, I would also say that from my experience, I could also form really good connections with professors. And these are world renowned scientists, researchers, or business people. And if you get a good solid recommendation from these professors who are at UPenn, or are at the university, you will really have an edge over someone else who is applying for the same role. So I had a really good relationship with my professors because I would book office hours and one-on-one meetings with them and keep them updated about whatever was happening in my life in terms of my academic and professional journey. And that helped me when I was applying to jobs where these professors vouched for me. They were championing me, and they were out there kind of putting all of their faith in me, and the employers, I think, were super impressed. So overall, I would say that this is a big investment coming here to the States and pursuing your master's, but I think it's totally worth it. It really helps you get a new experience and exposure, just also in terms of the diversity of people who come to that master's program from so many backgrounds, not just necessarily behavioral science. And in terms of the application process, I can say that for me, the application was simply very straightforward. I had to submit my statement of purpose. I had to submit my English proficiency scores because I'm an international student, and I also, had to submit my WES, which is my transcripts for my bachelor's program, my undergrad program. But I know from the year I got into this program, they have changed the process for the application and admission. They have to, they have made it compulsory to provide GRE scores if you have less than 5 years of work experience. Apart from that, you also have to give an interview. So these aspects have changed ever since I have got into this program. So I cannot comment much on those aspects, but you can reach out to them, and they hold seminars a couple of times in a year to tell you about the admission process and the application process. And finally, my last kind of word or thought would be that if you're coming to this master's program, know your why, know exactly what you are interested to learn. It doesn't have to be a specific industry or a field or a domain, but I would say think in terms of skills. What skills do you want to pick up? What kind of environments and contexts you want to work in? And also, how well can you articulate your learnings, your value, your experience in this program when you step out and you're ready to take on full-time jobs or your own consulting, freelancing, or whatever that you're interested in? You should be very, very clear on that. That clarity will give you a head start compared to other people who are also graduating from this program or similar programs. If you have any other questions that you are interested to hear about, I will definitely respond in the comment section below, and also you can contact me on LinkedIn. This is hopefully one of the many series of videos that I want to put out there regarding my experience working in the field of behavioral science. Also, I want to make it more fun and quirky and share some of my projects with you, share some of my experience and anecdotes working in this space. I have also got a lot of requests asking me about my job search, job hunt journey. How is it as an international student to get a job in this tough market, in this competitive market? And hopefully, I will create some more videos that detail my step by step process. But if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and see you with a video that is more fascinating and more enjoyable than this one. And hope to meet you again soon. Bye bye.